Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a very difficult one for me to make, and I honestly didn't even think that I was going to make this video, but my cat, who was also my best friend, passed away this past week. She was someone very important to me, and honestly I didn't even think that I would ever have to make this video. She's been with me for most of my life. I've only ever lived 2 years of my life without her. And so, like I said, I never thought that I'd have to make this video because she's one of those people. It's like when someone is a part of your life for so long, you don't ever really process that one day you'll have to learn to live without them. And I never thought that I would have to learn to live without her. It's not that I didn't know that that day would eventually come. It's more so that I just never really processed that I would have to learn to be without her. But anyway, I wanted to make this video for her because she was not just a cat to me. She was my family. She was my best friend. She was the one that I could go to and talk to about anything, and she wouldn't judge me. Even if she could only offer me a meow. You guys didn't really know her. She's been in quite a few of my videos, and it's kind of crazy because the last video I uploaded before I went on my vacation at the beginning of June, she was in. So, yeah. Anyway, but the point is that I'm making this for her because I absolutely adore her, and she was something, that girl. But you guys have been able to see her in the back of my videos, and she has been a part of my life, and both online and just my personal life now. So I don't know, I thought that this would be a good way to document this horrible point and remember her for how amazing she was to me. So here we go. So Dinah was a brown tabby with a coffee colored belly and little tiger stripes and bright green eyes. She came to me on December 25th, 2009. Jeez, I'm getting old. But she came to me on Christmas Day in a Build-A-Bear box. And as me and my sister were running downstairs, we see my mom come in the door with 2 Build-A-Bear boxes. And I was so excited. I thought that I was getting another stuffed animal to add to my collection. And instead, I had a real animal. And my one box had a little tail poke out of the little like hole that the Build-A-Bear boxes have, and it kind of scared me, not gonna lie. I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck is that? and then the second box had a little head poke out with little brown fur on top and a white face. We opened these boxes to find 2 little kittens inside, and they were sisters, just like me and my sister. My sister had named hers Sleeping Beauty after her favorite princess, and I took a little bit longer to name mine. I think I took an extra hour to figure out her name. And I named her after my favorite cartoon when I was younger, Alice in Wonderland. And in Alice in Wonderland, there's a little cat named Dinah, who Alice makes a little flower crown for. And I thought that was the perfect name for my cat. The 4 of us would play together every single day, running up and down the stairs in our little playroom that we had. we would literally just hang out all of the time. At this time, we also had another cat and a dog. We had a gray and white cat named Mia, after Princess Mia from Princess Diaries. And we had Pudge, who was our pug who lived to be 16. And same with Mia, they both passed at the age of 16, just different years. The cats used to gang up on Pudge, and it was kind of funny, but also kind of sad. They all would play fight with her, and they'd chase each other up the stairs, and it was a lot of fun. Mia always reminded me of, like, the dog, I forget his name, but the dog from Fox and the Hound. And he was just old, and she was old, and she she kind of felt like the boss of the group, you know? Who would tell the cats to be on their best behavior, and that was just kind of her. But my cat, even from a young age, she was always such a lover. That was something that I don't know if I'll ever find again in another cat. And honestly, I don't even really want another cat after her, because she was someone very, very dear to me. But anyway, she was so loving. Oh my gosh. She loved to be held like this, and she'll put her paws over your shoulder, and she wanted to literally get inside your skin. Like, being just sitting next to you was never enough. She always wanted to be as close as humanly possible. And her purr, oh my goodness, her purr was so loud. I literally could hear it from across the room. She was a very vocal cat. She was always meowing. And I would meow back to her, and we kind of understood what we were talking about, if that makes sense. We would communicate back and forth, and I'd go "Ri," or I'd meow back to her, and she would meow back to me, and we would go back and forth like she understood what I was saying. Even though I didn't even really know what I was saying. We brought her back to where she was born, here, and I remember when we were moving, and we brought her in the moving truck with us, along with her brother, Oliver, and which you guys have seen in some of my other videos. He's also a tabby, but he's white and gray. And anyway, but when we were moving, we had to bring them inside the hotel, obviously, because we're not going to leave them outside in the truck to freeze, you know? That's cruel. Anyway, but we had brought them inside, and we had to keep it secret, because otherwise you're gonna pay a humongous fee. So anyway, I had snuck her in with the blanket, and it felt like I was sneaking ET in. And she kept trying to poke her head out, and I was like, no, not yet, not yet. And she didn't meow. It's like she knew, but she didn't at the same time, that she had to stay undercover. She loved string. She loved ice cream, which was my fault. Whenever I had a vanilla ice cream, like the ones on the sticks, I would give her the last licks of my ice cream, and she loved it. And anytime anyone else was eating ice cream, she would get right up on their lap and try to eat it because of me. She loved to lay in the sun, and when we brought her back here, it's a lot sunnier here than it is in Washington. And so when we brought her here, we would put her outside with us, and she'd just roll on the pavement. She was just really happy to be outside in the sun. She has been there for me through everything, through the chaos, through the calm, through the everything in my life. And I don't know what I would have done without her. And I know that some people may see this and think, it's just a cat, it's just a cat. No, she wasn't. I told my parents it felt like I lost a sister. It felt like my best friend had just died. It was horrible. absolutely horrible. Then we get to Friday, June 12th, and we had gone on vacation, like I said, on that cruise, and when we got back, she was totally fine. She was meowing, eating, everything totally good. And then 2 days after we got home, she started to lay down the entire day. And she was normally a sleeper, but not that much. And so we put her on our dog's bed because it's flat and comfortable and she loves it. And it was low so that she could walk to the litter box if she needed to, or get up and get some water. And then 3 days after we put her on that bed, she took her last breath. And I was devastated, but to say the least, honestly, to say the least. I remember I laid on the floor with her for 30 minutes before I was the first one to find her like that. And I laid next to her. And I just bawled my eyes out. I could not handle it. And so I laid next to her. And then when everyone came inside, my dad was honestly just shocked and a little sad and he was a little bit of everything. My mom started crying too. And yeah. And then my mom had asked me if I wanted to pick her up, and I was like, yeah, but no. And so then I wanted to be the first one to pick her up because she's mine. And I picked her up, and that was the first time I've ever picked her up and she wasn't purring. And then I held her. I stood up. I walked around with her. And afterwards, my mom wanted to pick her up, and so she did. I apologize for the sound in the background. Anyway, but my mom had held her, and my sister started crying too, but she was too afraid to hold her, which understandable. And then about after an hour of sitting with her, it was time to take her. And I did not want a communal, I forget what it's called. It's basically like there are a few different options when your pet passes, and you can either do a communal ashes sort of thing where many animals' ashes go together. You can do your own and keep their ashes and such, or you can do a burial and at an actual cemetery. And I didn't want to do any of that. And so I honestly didn't even want to do anything. I wanted to keep her for forever, and I know that I can't do that. So anyway, we gave her a spot in the backyard, because this is our forever house, or at least my parents' forever house, I should say. And we gave her a spot in the backyard. And she will rest there now, or her body will rest there forever. She's an angel. An angel that got her wings, so. There's not really much for me to say about that. I love her, and I know that she loved me, and I gave her a very good life. She lived to be 17 and a half. And I'm lost and confused and sad and everything. But yeah. So, like I said, she rests outside. And she gets to lay in the sun. Her body gets to rest in the sun. And her soul, hopefully, is with Pudge in heaven, laying together in the sun, and I hope that she gets to eat all the ice cream that she deserves. And I hope that she gets loved even more. Because she deserves every piece of love that there is to give.